Hey everyone, hope you guys are doing great. So it did come to my notice yesterday that some of the students don't usually watch the video. I can't really place my finger on that one. Why on earth that students are not going to be able to watch the video that was made for them to help them in their studies? And from now on, I want to say one more time, it's a rule that when a video is posted on the Facebook group page, that all the students are expected to watch the video because it is meant to help you in your studies. We do a lot when we make videos for students in this new way of learning that has become of our learning style given to the COVID situation. So please make sure that from today onwards, each time a video is posted, you take your time out to watch it. Watch it carefully and listen to your teacher. If you don't understand anything, you can pause, you can go back so that you can be able to listen again. It's different from when you are at the Zoom meeting where sometimes maybe because of connectivity or Wi-Fi problem, many students can barely hear what the teacher is saying. So we take time out here to explain in details to students. So please, and please, I beg of you. Okay, without wasting any more ado, I'm going to quickly take you over to the workboard section where we have to look at some grammar tenses. Okay, and from whence we will be having a reading comprehension today. Let's quickly go take a look. So here we are. Just had to, model up something from here and there, but it makes a whole lot of sense to me that I convey this information to you. So let's just look at what we've got here. You see, A says, Jane called me yesterday. B says, I talked to Jane for an hour last night. C says, we went to Jack's house last Friday. And D says, what time did you get up this morning? So you see, everything here is immediately after the subject. Here the subject is Jane. If I'm not saying Jane, I'm going to use she. Our subject here is given already, I. Remember our subject pronouns, I, you, we, they, he, she, it. So here we. So say, here we went. We are using the verb go in the simple past. Talked. We are using the verb talk in the simple past. Call. We are using the verb call in the simple past. So it becomes called. So these ones that we've got ed, we call them regular verbs. See, called, talked. They are regular verbs. For the regular verbs to form the simple past and the past participle, all we need to do, we add ed to the simple past. Also, if it is the V3, which is our past participle, we also add ed at the back of the verb. So, but this one is an irregular verb. That's why we have we went and not the simple past tense of go. And the past participle for this is what? Gone. So here again, what time did you go? This one is a question. What time did you get up? It is a question. Our verb is always in the base form. If it is a question or a negative sentence, we're going to look at all that later. But for now, I just want you to focus on this particular one, and you can see our time words. Here we've got yesterday, our time marker, yesterday, to tell us this happened in the past. So simple past tense describes activities or situations that began and ended at a particular time in the past. Example, yesterday or last night. So the verb started and finished in the past. Okay? So here we go. What time did you get up? So if it is a question, you use a did for question. What time did you get up? And the verb is always in the base form. Did you get up? We will not say what time did you got up. Because get is the same. The base form of get is get. So we cannot say what time did you got up. Get, got, gotten. Or get, got. America sometimes says gotten. We talked about that yesterday. So here we got, he says, I was studying when Jane called me yesterday. So the past progressive, simple past, now we have past continuous. So the simple past, meaning the past progressive describes an activity that was in progress or was happening at the time another action happened. An action that was ongoing before another action happened. In C, here, when we went to Jack's house last Friday. In C and F, and this one, while I was studying last night, Jane called. They say the studying was in progress when Jane called. See, while I was studying, then Jane called. See, the studying was in progress before another verb happened. The first verb was going on, then another verb, which is calling, happened. So you see, if it is past continuous, what followed is usually our simple past. So that's what they say when Jane called. So again, they said in both the when clause and the main clause in the sentence are simple past. It means that the action in the when clause happened first, and the action in the main clause happened second. In G, first, it began to rain. Second, I opened my umbrella. In G, I opened my umbrella when it began to rain. Okay, when it began to rain. So when, this is what we call the when clause or if clause. We'll talk about this when we do conditional statement. I think this is, I don't want to get too confused with this, but we're going to keep it at this particular one, so you don't get confused with the when clause and the main clause issues. But it's going to be a topic for another day. But what brought me here is to show you how we use our simple past tense and how we compare it with what past progressive. As you can see, they just gave us a good example here. I'm going to be talking more on these other ones because of time. So I'm going to leave it here for now and take you to the section where we'll have to read a little bit. And from whence, then we'll move over to our Zoom meeting to conclude this class. Okay, let's go take a look. Yeah, I think we've still got time. So it's not going to hurt for me to explain this in detail because that's what I intended doing. But when I saw the if clause and when I saw the main clause and the when clause, I almost mistaken it for our conditionals, although they are partly related, but this one is meant for your grade. So I want to make sure I explain everything to the last. So here, look at where we stopped. Studying was in progress when Jane called. So the past progressive describes activity that was in progress or was happening at the time another action happened. Okay? An action was already in progress before another one, happened. But here they're telling us if both, this one is different. Say if both the when clause and the main clause in a sentence are simple past. You see, in the first one, they talked about past progressive, But sometimes, for example, when we have in F, while I was studying last night, Jane called. This one was in progress before this one started. Was going on before Jane called. So this one we past progressive, and what supersedes that is simple past. But in some cases, we have when the first action is simple past and the second action also is simple past. And that happens when we use the when clause. That is why it is called the when clause. And the main clause is the thing that is the main activity that is going on when something else happens. So a clause is like just not a complete sentence, but can get it has a verb in it, a subject in it, but it's not a complete sentence. So the two clause comes together to make a very complete sentence that has a thought in it. Okay, so let's look at the example they told us to look at here, which is what? G. They say this happens when the when clause happened first before the main clause. For example, I opened my umbrella when it began to rain. So this is, it began to rain is the when clause. So this one happened first before I opened my umbrella. So it's only in situations like this that you have the simple past and the simple past in both clauses. But with this one, it's different. You have the past continuous, and then we have the simple past superseding the action that was ongoing before that one happened. Okay? I think that is going to help a little bit for those students who can understand to that level. But if you don't, there is no problem. I just need to explain some few things. Then with that said, they say first it began to rain, second I opened my umbrella. Just exactly what I just explained. So this one, they say compare when the phone rang, I answered it. So when the phone rang, you see the when clause here is the phone ringing. Okay? So this happened first before I answered it. So I answered it. You see, that is exactly what they're talking about when they talked about when clause and the main clause. So the main clause here is I answered it. But when clause is when the phone rang. Again here, when the phone rang, I was studying. So the when clause here is what? The phone rang. But the main clause is what? I was studying, which, supposed to be the past progressive, an action that was going on before another one took over, which is when the phone rang. I was already studying when the phone rang. They said in I, first studying was in progress. The phone then rang. You see, but the H says the phone rang second, then I answered it. So just try to make a sense out of it, but I think this explanation helps. By the time we do a couple of exercises based on this, it's going to be clearer to you on what is being talked about. Okay, with that said, let's quickly move over to the next section. So here we are, we've got a reading comprehension worksheet. Read the short story, then answer each question. Mark's good habit. So I want to see you guys read. I know many of you can read very well, but some of you are still struggling. So I want to encourage, because studying English is not just about the grammar. It comprises the both writing, both listening, both reading, So it comes the grammar, the vocabulary, then being able to use them, not just knowing it, but being able to speak out. So it comes with a lot of things, which is the reason why we have to do a little bit of this, then do a little bit of that. Even your handwriting is part of it. Many a times, some of the students will send their work on the Facebook wall. I can barely see what they've written. That is not a good practice. You're supposed to be taught how to write and write boldly, in a way that you can be happy to read your note and make sense out of it. Okay, today we've got Mark's good habit, talking about habit. So this is a good topic because, let's just read and see. Mark reads more than anyone he knows. He loves to read during all of his free time. His friends tease him because he would rather read than play video games. But his parents and his teachers are proud of him. They say reading is important and it will help him learn about the world around him. They also told him it is a good habit to read on a regular basis. One day, Max was reading a magazine article about volcanoes. He told his friends all about volcanoes and what causes them to erupt. The very next week, his class was assigned a science project about volcanoes. Guess who everyone wanted in their project group? Max's friends weren't teasing him anymore. Max ended up being in a group with Liz, Anna, and Josh. The assignment was to create a poster board with information about volcanoes and to build a volcano model. Max made copies of the magazine article about volcanoes so his project partners could read about them too. They also went to the library to look for more information about volcanoes. Wow, what an awesome story. That was good, wasn't it? We're going to leave it here for today, but the story continues. So what I'd love you to do is to try and read just the same way I've read. Maybe record your voice or something. You want to hear some of the students or the students that could read better. Okay? So it's going to be like a kind of competition. Then at the end, we're all going to answer the questions that comes first. We'll be talking about also the grammar that were used during this storytelling comprehension. Okay? So all that we're going to do when you join me at the Zoom meeting is going to be a gradual process, but every day we pick on a topic. We've picked on Mark's good habit. So we're going to see it to the end this week. Every day we read a piece, every day we read a piece until we get to the end of the story when we have to answer all the questions that will be provided, which the answers we'll find from reading this comprehension. Okay, thank you for watching. I think this is going to be all about it for today. And I'll be sending across a worksheet exercise where I have to try your knowledge on the simple past tense and the past progressive form. Okay? So thank you once again for watching and see you on the rebound. Bye for now.